Hello, welcome. This is Radha, and today I want to talk to you about what to write for your chapter. We've had quite a few people sign up, and now they're wanting to know what they might want to talk about. Some people came in knowing what they wanted to discuss, and others have a few stories that they want to share. So, since many are still trying to figure out what their chapters are about, I have a few outline suggestions. I hope you're having a beautiful day so far. So, the first thing you want to do, step one, is find your happy place. Find a spot that you feel you can truly relax in. You can get some sage, you can do some rituals in that area, really owning the spot, light some candles, turn on some very soft and healing music. Just take some time and meditate in your space, create a sacred sanctuary. When you feel relaxed and you feel embodied in your space, then you want to just take 5 to 10 minutes and just breathe. Just breathe. When you breathe, make sure you're breathing all the way down into your belly. Full deep breaths. So much of our life, we go around breathing very shallow. So it's breathing from your chest. But if we want to get really creative and really tuned in to our story, our truth, our purpose, we want to bring it down lower into our belly. You can put your hand on your belly and just take a deep breath. Some beautiful breaths like this will really bring you back into your center. And set the intention of what kind of story you want to share from your soul. You know, this is part of creating your legacy. And being part of this book is sharing a piece of your journey, of yourself, of your lessons, of your triumphs, of your breakdowns to your breakthroughs. And it can be around anything that you feel aligned with. You know, some people have connections with animals, and you might want to talk about your work with animals, animal connections. Some people are going to be writing about their experience being a mother or having a family. Everything is here to serve us, to serve you, to serve the reader who's going to be reading your chapter. So we want to share what is most meaningful for us. You know, some people are coming from a place where they had massive success and then they had a breakdown and lost everything, or they lost their family. And they're coming from a place of rebuilding and recreating, and what the breakdown really taught them. You know, some people might want to talk about meditation, how that's changed their life. Or it could be music, could be art. You know, we all have different relationships with different things. For me, that would be like energy healing, how that really shifted the dynamic of my life in the most positive way. That was a turning point for me. Could be a starseed experience connecting to your star family. You know, there's room to really share what you want to, what's in your heart and your mind. You don't have to try to fit any box with this. This is called Awakening Starseed for a reason, because everyone that's part of this has gone through an awakening process of some kind. And of course, there's many levels and layers to this. It's constantly unfolding, right? It's never ending. So we can share what's dearest and nearest to our heart. So step 2, grab a pen and paper and ask yourself, what are the first three thoughts that come to your mind about your awakening story? Like, what really, if you were just to close your eyes and just say, hey, what was your awakening story? The first thing that pops up in your head. And then go into your heart, and you want to listen with your heart, letting the messages come forth. And then write down immediately, no matter what it is. We're going to write without judgment. Remember, anything can be brought, about your awakening story, because your story is your truth, and it doesn't have to be like anyone else's. Everyone has their own experience. Some people, maybe they worked in a crystal shop and they had an awakening there. Everyone has their own story, their own experience, or it could be through loss or, grief many times. So there's no wrong or rights here. And we're going to give ourselves permission to get off of the judgment train and just tuning into the voice of your soul. So go ahead, and then step 3, after you have written down those 3 thoughts, expand them further. I like writing and separating them in first 3 columns. Then you can break them down further. What is important about it? What is important about this story? And what are the lessons I learned from it? Because no matter what we go through, it's only us that's judging it, but there's always a lesson in it for us. It's not for nothing. Even the worst experiences are growing opportunities. We know that. What are the feelings that arise when I think about it? So what are the feelings that arise when you're thinking about the story, the experience you want to share? Go ahead and let your hand write freely and let it flow. Don't overthink this. You're allowed to have a first draft that's crappy. There's just no judgment. Don't worry about sequencing, structuring, spelling. Really allow your heart to work in conjunction with your mind and body to bring your innermost thoughts out freely. We want to access that freedom. So with grace and with ease, go ahead and just let it flow. And step 4, after you have written and expanded on all those 3 thoughts, review them. You can, if you're writing with a pen or a piece of paper, you can take notes of what you're scribbling. Just start to see the patterns that are starting to take shape, because there's always a pattern that's coming through. Out of those 3 thoughts you've expanded, which one resonates strongest with you? Again, don't overthink anything. Just let it come to you from within. If you were just going to be honest and not worry about judgment, allow that voice to come forward, because that's the most honest voice. And step 5, you should have a clear message about what your heart wants to say. The one you pick first is usually the strongest. It's a vibe that's coming from within. It's right there. Start expanding that into a structure where there's a title, a subtitle, introduction, a body, climax, and of course, lessons learned, to start to compartmentalize, letting the story take shape and, giving the story its own room to create. Because we are often just vessels for the stories to come through, allowing your story to start to create a life of its own. And envision yourself like you're telling a bedtime story to a group of friends or kids. Just let the words flow from your heart. Allow your mind to translate those feelings into words and write it out. And remember, this is your first draft. As you continue to write, it's like being a sculpture. It's going to start manifesting, and then you're like, oh, I want this curve, or I want this coming in here. There's so much freedom, when you just start to create an idea, and then create a structure, and then you can refining it is the fun part, so get it out there, get it out of your system. If you are one of the authors that are in the Awakening Starseeds book, I would ask you to start journaling now. Start writing now. Don't wait. You don't want to wait. You want to just go for it. The inner judge is always going to come out and say something, and it's up to us to just say, yeah, I hear you, and I'm going to do this anyways. When we're sharing something from our heart, there's usually vulnerability attached to it, and sometimes we create, defense mechanisms. So I'm here to tell you that you have the right to write. You have the right to write. We all have a story inside of us. We have many stories. We're like a whole film collection. You start to realize you have many stories, and so this is not the first book that we're doing. We're going to be doing a series of them. And the second book, we're going to have more room to expand on. Remember, your chapters are 1,500 words. So they're going to be a little shorter, a little more concise. And then you can even go deeper and then bring something new into the second book if you'd like. But in the meantime, let's get you started, because writing is a process, and it comes from your heart and it comes from your soul. So I'm excited for you to start. I cannot wait to read your chapters, and let's get this party started. If you need any help, reach out. We are here to assist you. But I have faith in you. If you signed up for this, I know that you have a story in your heart that you're ready to share. And now is the time, my loves. So with that, so much love and many blessings. I hope this helps you. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.